Hi guys. So finally got around to making the time simply because I needed to install a new die. I wore out my 223 trim die. So I finally got around to making a video, and I want to keep this short because I don't know people don't like to be bored. But what I did was I went ahead and set up the die in the Dillon and got my trim length to where I wanted it with just the nut butted up against the bottom of the Honey Badger. So here we are with the lathe. We've got our Starrett gauge set up. We've got the die inserted into a 3-jaw chuck, nothing fancy. And as I spin this, you're going to see the Starrett showing that we don't have any concentricity with the gauge. Um, and what you're going to do, and for easy reference, you can see I've put numbers next to each one of the screws. We're going to go ahead and tighten up the screws one at a time until we can get this gauge to where when we're rotating the headstock on the lathe by hand, that the gauge has very minimal, if no movement at all. So I'm going to get started with that, and I'll be back with the final results. So here we are again, and as I was saying, once you monkey around, this took me about 10, maybe 12 minutes to set up. We can rotate this around, and you'll see that the needle has very little movement. We probably have about 2/10 of a thousandths or 2/10,000ths worth of run out in this die, and that's probably about all the closer we're going to get with this Morisaki lathe that was built back in the 60s. It's probably never been rebuilt. But nonetheless, 2/10 of a thousandths on concentricity of cut for your die and your brass is not going to create any accuracy problems, and it's probably closer than what you're going to get with any other piece of trimming equipment on the market. So again, just to recap, set up your die, screw this nut to the bottom of the trimmer adapter. Then when you bring it over to your lathe, simply take you a line. Here, we'll give you an example. So when you're setting this up, draw you a line down the center of your die uh, so that you make sure nothing moves, and then back this off one full turn. I think I've got about 60,000 scap in here once you get to your lathe, and then go ahead and snug up the 4 jack screws, and then just start playing with it. Spin the head's in neutral. This requires no power at all. So then just start spinning it, and you'll look for the low reading. And when you find the low reading, again, numbering the screws helps. When you find the low reading, go back to that screw and give it a little twist, and you'll see that climb on the dial indicator. And you can just set that as accurate or as inaccurate as you desire. So that's how to set up the Honey Badger trimmer adapter. Have fun with your reloading, guys.